Ghana will be at the semi-finals this year. I'm not sure how true that is, but we'll see. Another caller on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to TV3 New Day. Abdul Rahman.
Good morning, madam.
Yes, good morning. Abdul, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Yendi. This is Morgan.
Okay, Yendi. All right, talk to us.
Yendi.
Yendi.
Yes, where the overlord is staying.
Very well.
Overlord.
Very well. Go ahead, please.
Greetings, Roland, for me. My greetings coming to your staff, everybody there. Please, I'm praying to Black Star, but may Allah lead them through to bring us this in the cup. So I'll pray good to our new coach. To lead this in the team very well, so that we'll go through. And I'll stand here and use your platform to greet my consultant chairman, like Baba Ghazali. It's a good man for the NPP party in the year. He's doing well for the constituency. We pray that God should choose him back for us to continue his work. And also greet the former MP, Alai Farouk Ali Mahama, the hard-working MP. This our new MP is not working. Oh, Jufra is not working. Madam, it's not working. Yeah, so we'll change him. We are going to change him. It's not working.
Another time we'll talk about it. But thank you so much for calling us. And I'll pick this one and I'll hand over to you. Alaji, how are you? Jawasem. You said you sent plane tickets. You said you sent plane tickets. You didn't send plane tickets. You said you sent shopping money. No shopping money.
Outside of the counter. And you didn't tell me. Oh.
Because you didn't send money for the plane ticket and you didn't send money for shopping. That's why I didn't tell you.
But because of you didn't tell me, how can I send money for the plane ticket?
How didn't you know that I was traveling if I'm your wife? How didn't you know?
If you tell me, I will send the money for the plane ticket.
Alaji, good morning.
Alaji, that's about.
Nah,
Alaji, nah, Gambian. And
nah.
But let me send my greeting to Shamima and he has Alaji Alasan and Chairman of Kosampo. But yesterday actually we left our father, Chairman of Kosampo. For me, our father raised in peace and Dr. Bukaru in the municipal chief in Alasan Bagama. You see, Ghana, we need to increase the supporters. Maybe the supporters there. If they play well, I think we will happy. But sometimes, if we get the good coach and our players did not play well, do you think we can win the match? Really? If we get the good coach and the coach can coach the team well, and our players did not play well, and they play the selfish, I think we will not win any match. So we should keep on playing for the country. Okay. This 2026 trophy year, we need to take it into this country. Do you know that? I know Ghana will win the 2026 trophy.
Ghana will win the 2026 trophy. Which one? The World Cup?
The World Cup.
We'll win it.
I like his face.
We'll win it.
Okay.
So no doubt about that.
Okay.
So I think we will bring Rice Pikabagun as our coach because Rice Pikabagun know how to coach. When he gives the directive, I see the directive and
Alaji, he's not the one we are talking about. We are talking about Carlos Queiroz. Do you think that Carlos will be able to help us win the cup like you're saying?
Yeah. It can help.
Then that's it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Alaji, for calling us. I'm told Sani from Wale Wale is on the line.
Sani joins us. Good morning to you, Sani. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you, my sister?
Doing very well. How are you yourself?
Yes, I'm also fine. And then I want to welcome Cookie back to Ghana. It's just that you didn't greet me, or you didn't remember when you were greeting Alaji and Co. And I was always asking of Cookie T, where are you? Where are you?
Sonny, forgive me. You are one of my fans. I'm so sorry that I didn't ask about you. Forgive me, but special good morning to you, Sonny from Wale Wale.
Yes, I'm fine. I've forgiven you. Just to say that, just to ask that, what have you brought there for me?
I brought a lot of snow. It's in the studio here. Come for yours.
Also in Wale Wale, so I want some.
No problem.
Yes. Okay. So I want to say that I'm also very happy about this new coach. Yes. When you look at his profile, in fact, the experience is there. Taking Iran and then South Africa to the World Cup and some of the major teams in the World Cup. I think he's got a good profile. But our problem, Ghana, is that it's not that we are also hungry for going to the World Cup. We have also been there for several times, several occasions, I think about 5 or 4 times. Okay, so that one is not our problem. Our problem has always been how to cross the first round, okay, and then also deliver so that the world will know that Ghana, yes, we have also come there. So it's not about just going to participate and come back home. No, we want deliverance. Do you understand? So how is he going to blend the players? You know, we have a lot of them, experienced one, okay, both local and international, and they're doing quite well for their respective teams. So how is he going to blend them so that we will be able, if not even win the World Cup, but also come back with something, okay? And I also want to advise him that, look, we have over 35 million coaches in Ghana because everybody has a stake with regards to whatever goes to the Black Stars. We are all watching patiently for what they do. So we are going to criticize him. After that one day, he should prepare. So if he doesn't understand English, he needs to get an interpreter so that he will be telling him what we are saying with regard to every mood that he takes. We are going to criticize him for that so that it will enable him to deliver. And then finally, I'm interested about the details of the contract because our former coach, they were paying him $50,000 a month. Do you understand? And then what they never do is they even gave him upfront payment for the year. Okay, so they will pay him 6 months. Okay, so that before the year ends. And every match that he won, he was also given $10,000 as a bonus. And we thought it was on the it was too high. So we want to do some kind of comparative. How much are they paying this coach so that we'll be able to know everything before he starts. So, but I want to wish him well and then wish that, yes, we are able to bring the World Cup to Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sani from Wale Wale. I'll just read just a few of your messages. This is from Idi Amin here. He says, Beatrice, good morning, please. I'm not in football, but I beg you guys, don't overhype the coach. Let Ghanaians see how practical he is. It's not about his CV. They should invest in the players. I don't believe our problem is a coach, but our problem is political interference. Idi Amin, thank you very much. Mr. Simon Yen from WA says, Carlos Queiroz, with such a wonderful pedigree as the Black Stars' new coach, we expect Ghana to travel beyond the quarterfinal stages in this year's World Cup. Good morning, Beatrice, Roland. Cookie, you are welcome back from the West.
Thank you. Rolly, I have greetings for you from Kester. He says, when I say Kester, Business Development Manager at Republic Bank, you will know who it is. So good morning to you, Kester.
Kester, good morning.
Yes, I met you yesterday. You're amazing. Thank you very much for sending in your message. Rolly, do you have more, or I should take a few?
I have a couple of messages. Okay. This one is coming from Alhaji Kupson and says that everyone is talking about a new coach, but no one is telling us a salary a month.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because this one, so and then Major sends a long one, and then even adds videos.
Hey. Oh, wow.
Yeah, of his own interactions over the period, over the last period. The last few hours. But he said, let me also touch on something many people avoid, yet it's very important in our context, and that is the spiritual dimension of football. In this country, we cannot pretend that spirituality does not play a role in our national life, including sports. We've been in situations where clergymen and spiritual leaders give prophecies about the Black Stars, some even cautioning against certain decisions like sacking individuals or making changes with the team. Yet sometimes these decisions were taken or are taken regardless, and says that the right things need to be done. Football may be played on the pitch, but in Ghana, many believe that success is influenced beyond the pitch as well.
Did one caller say that Otuado receives 10,000 after every match?
Yes, after every win. After every win. Yes, that's bonus.
That's not true. There's information coming in from one important person from the GFA, and he says that's not true.
Okay.
All right. Now, let's move on to other things. We're talking about pecking up your day, the Milky Way with the rich, smooth taste of Peck milk shortcake. It's pure delight. Please make sure that you get some for you, your friends, and your family. Thank you to all of you who sent us messages. Prudential Livingston says there are so many problems in the GFA, interference and corruption, so the coach must make sure that he does not follow suit. As long as we, Okay, I think I'll just leave it there. I get the input of the message.
Very quick one from Mr. Steven Penn. Good morning, Beatrice. Cookie and my in-law, Papa Roll.
Hey.
I didn't know that. Roland, you have to bring the bride price before you keep admiring and salivating over my beautiful daughters.
Hey, Boogie Brown, there's a message.
My daughters must keep their distance from Papa Roland, so he comes up to
I'm distancing myself from this person.
Charlie, there's a gentleman called Boogie Brown. He says Cookie and Beatrice are looking querosely glamorous and cookish.
Wow.
Ain't he come
Thank you very much.
sentence, you know. All right, another message. Kwame Acidity says, good morning, all of you. Carlos Queiroz, welcome to Ghana. This is the kind of coach Ghana is looking for. Special greetings to National Serial Callers Association of
There's a last message, and I think that we need to take hindsight of this. This one's coming from Felix, Bonanti Felix, says that let's not forget that the coach's average win per World Cup is less than one game. So Ghanaians should lower their
expectations.
Anyway, it's better to have low expectations than to have a high one and you'll be dropped like that. All of you who have sent us your messages, Aziz Dollar and Fakaki and the rest, thank you very much for sending in your messages. You're unable to read all of them, but thank you. Yes.
Well, the Business Financial Times, I thought I was going to take that before we go on break, but I think it's time to take a break now. We'll be right back with a big issue.
Every woman deserves hair that looks and feels amazing. It starts with the right product. BO16. After relaxing, your hair needs serious care. BO16 neutralizing shampoo.
if an introduction of a policy threatens the significance of many of these interventions that the government introduced, intending to alleviate the plight of importers and freight forwarders, then it is important for us to engage meaningfully with them.
Beyond the engagement, they think that they've had enough. They accused stakeholders of not having enough consultations and are asking for a suspension of it.
I don't think that we have gotten to the stage where it needs to be suspended, in all honesty, regardless of the challenges that I have with the implementation of the system. Like I have enumerated, I'm a victim of it. I have experienced it. And I know how that can be frustrating. And the rippling effect of that is that, look, there's the tendency that even regardless of the gains we are making in terms of our inflation and exchange rate, there's the likelihood that prices of goods and services will continue to rise, largely because of the rippling effects of some of these bottlenecks associated with imports in the industry in our country. But how do
you keep a system that the people doing business there say is not fair, is quadrupling their
You don't need to suspend it. Amendments needs to be made.
But they are saying even when they complain, you complained and you resolved it in 2 weeks. They say their complaints are being declined.
No, I'm not even excited about the fact that it had to be resolved in 2 weeks. All what I'm telling you is that the sincerity of the introduction of that AI system cannot be downplayed, because we all know, as citizens of this country, that there are leakages when it comes to our ports infrastructure. And it will be a focus area for any finance minister who is actually interested in raising the needed revenue for developmental projects in the country. And most importantly, in nipping the buds when it comes to corruption avenues. And so we must understand that the rationale behind the introduction of the AI's policy is rooted in sincerity, intending to serve the entirety of the nation. But albeit, we have discovered challenges. It is not supposed to be a point of confrontation between us and the government of the day. What actually should be is a meaningful engagement with these authorities so that we can sit down to see how we can perfect the system. Suspending the AI system will throw the entire port process to another chaos that we need to avoid.
But you already have the integrated systems there. So
that's the point. But this is meant to augment it. But I'm telling you that the work this is doing now cannot also be discounted. All what we need to do is to look at the AI system and look at how to perfect it. Amendments needs to be made. They are talking about the appeal system. For example, when we generated and it gave us the 585,000, we went through the appeal system and it brought it down to about 420,000. The 420,000 was still much higher than we knew we were paying at the time we were importing the containers, because it was supposed to be 220,000. But we ended up paying 420,000. And so when you bring these things to the attention of the government, and I've always said on many other different platforms that, look, we are fortunate to have a government that listens. My job on this platform, maybe as a party communicator, would have been to dismiss, like we witnessed in the past, dismiss the concerns of the Ghana freight forwarders. When paperless system was being introduced, we saw how party foot soldiers and communicators defended government to the hilt. But all what I'm saying on this platform is that, look, we are not claiming perfection when it comes to the introduction of the AI system. Undoubtedly, there will be problems. But those problems will be resolved as the policy is being implemented. We do not propose a suspension of the policy for negotiations to continue. When in actual sense, through the implementation process, we can have meaningful engagements and try to perfect that AI system so that it works in the interest of the state. So I can understand their frustrations. I can understand the rippling effect it will have on our economy. So their agitations are not only intended for the benefit of themselves. I know, as a matter of fact, that it is also intended to serve the entirety of this country because of the rippling effect that would have on prices on the streets. So the Ghana Revenue Commission Authority, the commissioner, I think that the time has come for them to engage more again. If they are not excited about the extent of engagement, we need to engage further and see how we can get this thing to work. I am for it fully, but albeit there are challenges that we need to resolve with
There are
the system.
challenges that we need to resolve in the system. Let me acknowledge the presence of Dr. Ramsey Inusa, who is Research Director for the United Party. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let me get your thoughts, Mr. Sylvester Tete, on these challenges.
Well, for me, I think that what is the essence of this publican AI is to enhance customs valuation. First of all, is not to check leakages. It is not.
It is part of it.
It's part of
It is
it.
not.
It's part of it.
It's
My
part
brother,
of it.
please. When you were talking
I
about
respect
yeah.
that. I respect that.
It is not. And what it's doing now has proven that it is not to check leakages. Valuation. For instance, every vehicle has a value from the manufacturer, what we call the home delivery value. Okay? That you cannot dispute it. What we've done over time in law is to apply the necessary depreciation rate. So if the manufacturer of a vehicle, say the Voxy from Japan, is valued at $30,000, nowhere in the world can you dispute that. So when it gets to your jurisdiction, what is the applicable rate of depreciation and the exchange rate you apply to it? So you can sit in your home and know that this vehicle coming to Ghana, this is how much I'll pay. Because you know all our duty rates. So when it gets to the port, and now there's something called publican AI, has lifted your value from the $30,000 from the manufacturer to $40,000, you have every reason to challenge it. So this is cast in stone. Go and speak to the custom officers. They have what we call the home delivery value. So the source document. What we've had over time is falsification of invoices of goods. I go to the market. That is why we started doing the destination inspection. I go to buy mobile phones from maybe Korea, from China, from Taiwan, from UK. They don't have the same value. But because it's a mobile phone, I come here and then a publican AI says that I'm taking the highest value. The highest value could be coming from the UK. Are you getting what I'm saying? Look, this whole publican AI system they put in the port is to enhance. And yesterday, the Commissioner General was out there to say that in 2 weeks, they've increased revenue of the state by over 40%.
That's about on the 11th when the GRA boss spoke to the press. That's,
Yes.
Anthony Sapon. He said that we've been able to rake in about 11 billion Ghana cedis in port leakages.
So I'm coming. What is the leakages we are talking about? If, like my brother said here, gave his own example, unless, of course, he's telling me the invoice value of the goods that has been charged over 100% is in doubt. Unless he's telling me that. Because if you go to purchase your goods from your manufacturer and you have the manufacturer's invoice, that is what we do the destination inspection and confirm the values from the manufacturer. Unless he's telling me that is accepted to pay 420,000 instead of 220,000. Over 90% increment. Is it a fault that you falsify the invoice, or you can go to the manufacturer and confirm your invoice? This is trade. This is trade and practical. I import. I have my manufacturer. I've given you my manufacturer's address. Before I send money out of this country, I bring you what we call the import declaration form with my invoice. And you've permitted me to send an amount of money to the manufacturer. Because it's not my money. Government of Ghana provides the exchange for me to send to the manufacturer. So the value is already determined. So when I come and I clear, I send you the returns. Then you've approved $100,000 for me to my manufacturer. The goods has arrived in the country. Then at the point of clearance, you are saying that your invoice that you gave me and approved the forex for you to go and pay your manufacturer is now $300,000.
So you obviously disagree with the point of Mr. Suyini?
Of course, I do.
Then what really are you saying in terms of really what you see as regards
what
to
I see is a system put in place to enrich some people. And let me tell you why.
Why do you say
Yes,
that?
Please, you allow me to speak.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
Why?
I'll come
I
back
am
to
now,
Mr.
I'm
Suyini
speaking
for
and
you
you
to
are
have
getting
your point.
agitated. What I'm saying is that this contract is telling us that we are going to increase our revenue by 40 to 45%. Okay? and they will be paid a percentage of the revenue increase they get.
You do not think that they will be able to have a percentage because they know how much the country
how
will
is what we are going through, how is what we are saying. You see the examples they are giving you. You must go to the point of approving or disapproving the invoice values we are bringing. I'll give you an example of a vehicle. So if you sit at the comfort of your home and deploy a tool, that is not taking into consideration the home delivery value of a vehicle. Please, take your time and listen carefully. I'm saying that you import a Toyota Corolla. Toyota Corolla has a home delivery value, okay? You know that if the vehicle is 5 years and above, you have 50% depreciation. So if the value of the Toyota Corolla is $10,000, you depreciate it by 50%, you have $5,000. You apply the current rate of exchange, then you get your CI value. Then you apply your duty rate, your import levy, the VAT, so you can sit in the comfort of your home and do it. So the home delivery value of the vehicle is already established. Nobody can tamper with it.
But Mr. Tim, aside from the point you've made, you're making really wild claims.
I'm coming there, so you wait and listen to me. Wait and listen to me. I'm saying that you signed a contract for a company to increase your revenue. How? They are not telling us. What is turning out? What is turning out is unnecessary inflation of the rate to meet their threshold and get their money. That's the basic point.
And when you say enrich some people, which people are you talking about?
Who are the beneficiaries of this publican jail?
You have to tell us.
As of now, we are seeking the company, the contract. Do you have the contract? Do you have the contract? We want to see the contract and the beneficiaries. Because when you make the gains, you have a percentage you earn from it. And I'm asking how? The how is the question we are trying to answer now. And what is coming out from the port is nothing but astronomical increment of the values. And that is the problem. That is why people are agitating. Somebody has done a particular thing for about 20 years. It means that value has been accepted by customs. It means they've gone to the source and has attested to the value of the particular product. So if today you have gone to the source and approved the values, and you come to Ghana and they're saying that this is your value, we are not accepting your value, we are taking this value, you should have an appellate body to go and put all your evidence before them. So that's what I'm saying, that you said you usually pay 220,000 cedis.
Yes, and he said he went through the process.
He went through the process. So that's what I'm saying, that in his case, perhaps he's accepted that the values he's been paying hitherto were not accurate values.
I think so.
That is a fair confirmation. So if you think in your case what you've been paying hitherto is not a fair value, that is fine. But there are people who had evidence, and even from their manufacturers, that what we've been paying is the true value of the goods.
Yes, it's possible too.
It is possible.
And if you could land for me so I can get a thought
so I'm saying that if you go by this system, it's a way to meet your threshold and be able to get your percentage. That is the problem.
I will come back to you on the way forward, really, because the people, we already know that the associations have declared a 4-day strike starting from today, and they are asking for the suspension of the system. Mr. Soyini already disagrees with that suspension idea. But Dr. Inusa, your thoughts?
Good morning to you. And let me take this opportunity to say good morning to your cherished viewers and to my co-panelists. It's been a long time, Sly. Anyway, you know, the issue here has been well said by various stakeholders affected in this space. Indeed, I've always held the notion that in Ghana, we tend to use a lazy man approach when it comes to fiscal policy, burdening the ordinary citizens with a lot of indirect taxes rather than tackling direct taxes. Now, I do not see any issue in modernizing how we improve our tax revenues in terms of assurances, right? This publican AI system is a well thought through policy intervention by the government. However, what I do not see altering well for most discerning people in this country is how they fail to engage stakeholders before implementation. I think that has brought about all these challenges that we're seeing today. The rationale behind this intervention is as a result of massive leakages in our port. Now, let me state the figures here. Between 2020 to 2025, Ghana had an import value of $127 billion, yet only $52 billion were declared through the customs system. So you can imagine where the rest went to. Just recently in our borders, there was a massive scandal where people would say that they are taking rice from Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire and Burkina, and then for us to realize that they are being dumped into our markets. And so I think that, yes, it is a very great policy intervention. The concerns of these exporters and importers is also very legitimate because there was no any adequate stakeholder engagement. I think the government has to go back. The issue with AI, you know, there has been a lot of conspiracy theories against AI. I mean, we seated here, we do also use AI in our day-to-day engagement and activities, and we've seen how it can be effective and enhancing our efficiency, right? I think that government ought to improve the manner in which the appeals committee sits a week. They sit at least twice a week. And you can imagine the level of imports into this country, taking into consideration our orientation, economic orientation. We are heavily dependent on imports. If there are a lot of disputes raised, you cannot tell me that a committee sits only twice in a week. That even undermines the government's agenda of the 24-hour economy.
Well, the reason the president asked them to increase that, right?
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying that they should fix that. And whoever brought up that policy intervention did not think through it carefully. You cannot have... As
in how often the committee is...
Exactly. It should be as often as they can, even 7 days a week. You understand? That fits into the government's broader agenda of the 24-hour economy. And I believe that going forward, some of the fiscal policy interventions that they have to put in place to take into consideration the shocks of inflation, as we've seen with global crisis and all that, that they have to peg or hedge the exchange rate for certain strategic commodities coming into this country. So, for example, let's take the pharmaceutical industry. There are certain drugs that we do not produce locally in this country, taking into consideration how non-communicable diseases are on the rise, right? There are certain drugs that we don't produce. It will be unfair onto the end consumer if government increases the import duty on these strategic goods into the country. And so government has to hedge the exchange rate for a period of 6 months. So, for example, if in January, you are importing a certain amount of drug into the country, right? And the exchange rate within January is 10 cedis per dollar. If you're clearing it in March, you would still pay your duty hedged to that 10 cedi per dollar, even if the rate increases to maybe 16 cedis per dollar. And I think that would cushion the consumer and indeed these enterprises and how they even pay their import duties. Yeah. So going forward, I want to see the Ministry of Finance rationalize our import duty regime, and let us look at how best we can tax our people, taking into consideration the direct taxes rather than indirect taxes, because a lot of consumers are overburdened with the indirect taxes. But in general, I think that the publican AI system is good. If you look at the gains we've chalked, coming from the camp of Honorable Alan Tramartin, the party of Honorable Alan Tramartin, we know this system very well. In 2019, we introduced ICOMS, right? And it was fully operational in 2020. Within 17 days of ICOMS operation, the port raked in over 490 million cedis within 17 days. So we kind of understand how these systems work, and we believe that digital innovation and intervention in our fiscal and revenue mobilization space is the way to go. And so I don't see anything wrong with it.
It's the way to go. I'll come to you very shortly, Mr. Suini, but I want to get the final word of Mr. Akron. In like 30 seconds, we will be wrapping up very shortly. In 30 seconds, really the way forward, we've already heard the current members of the freight forwarders and other, groups forming a whole association, declaring a strike and also asking for the suspension. Your final words as regards the way forward in 30 seconds, sir.
So here is I didn't know I was going to be caught in between politicians. I am not a politician, so I'm just speaking straight to the facts. These are things I want to lay facts bare. You can check with the GRA, but in the last, say, 4 to 5 years, every year they set a revenue target. And you check with them for the last 5 years, whether they had even fallen behind those revenue targets at any time.
But last year they did. Last year in the first quarter they did 1.6 billion Ghana cedis.
If you go back, you would see that every year they meet their targets. That's number one. Number two, what we do is time bound. So if you are not able to pay your duties, after 4 days, you are paying interest charge to the government. The shipping line is laughing all the way to the bank because your goods are sitting there and you're going to pay demurrage charges. The Ports Authority is not going to stop its rent after 7 days, and the state warehouse rent, which comes from customs, after 21 days will be there. Remember also, if these goods stay in the port for 21 days, they are going to be auctioned. And so we should be mindful. All of these are time bound. And so it is very important for us to look at these things.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Eddie Akron, former president, Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Thank you for joining us via video call and for sharing your thoughts, of course, including your final thoughts as well. Mr. Suyini, your final words.
I think it is important for me to make certain corrections that my brother passed on, erroneous impressions that he passed on as facts. When we said that the system was intended to check leakages, my brother disagreed, but ended up confirming the very point that we made. You see, in the past, especially prior to the introduction of that particular system, what used to be happening was that, for example, if you are bringing in a 2023 Audi for a say, because it was manual in nature, there were people who at the port could get you to make it 2021. And so you pay duty for 2021, when in actual sense, you are bringing in a 2023. So government loses. But with the current AI system, what happens is that it is difficult for you to under-declare. If you import a vehicle that is 2024, because of the chassis number, you cannot say that the vehicle you have imported is 2020 and get to pay lower rates. But where I agree with him in principle has to do with the cost implications. And I think that I made that point in my earlier submission. As far as the policy is concerned, I believe that there is the need for government to engage with the Ghana freight forwarders and look at it tentatively. The cost build up in terms of the valuation, the figures that is churning out can be mind-blowing. And if we are not careful, there's the tendency that the cost implications will be imported into our economy. And the gains we have made over the year in terms of inflation and exchange rate stability would be next to nothing, because Ghanaians would go to shops and prices of goods and services will be increasing, and they would not be able to reconcile that.
What's your thoughts briefly on the strike declared?
But not finally, he also made a wild allegation on that it is intended to line other people's pockets. And he did so passionately. And you see, sometimes that is the problem I have with the NPP. You see, on this table, how many times have we discussed SML? Did you ever hear my brother with similar passion, even when it was glaring, that this was a policy introduced by government to milk dry the state? He was a deputy minister responsible for information. What was his position then? What has changed? In a matter of 1 year, 4 months in opposition. What has changed? And yet still, we had hardcore evidence about how SML was designed to milk the state. Is he able, in the submissions that he made, to demonstrate how this particular publican AI has been designed to line the pockets of people? It is simply based on conjecture. And this kind of politics is not healthy for our democracy. Especially being a former parliamentarian, you need to know that when it comes to discourse of this nature, it must be grounded in fact. We cannot just sit on national television and throw out empty accusations.
In 30 seconds.
That is the work of food soldiers, not us.
Please, let me be honest with you, and let me repeat it again. This is a plan designed to steal and nothing more.
Well, I would be glad that you submit your evidence.
Please,
oh, my brother,
submit it. When you were
and
talking,
I will join you in
when
to say,
you were talking,
you have evidence to that effect. Trust me.
I've told you, and I maintain a position that this system is nothing but designed to steal, and it's not a system proved to stop the leakages.
Petition against it.
Please, you take your time. I've told you the systems and the processes it goes through. They've said that they are in to increase our revenue by 45 to 50%.
But I made that point earlier that if they are talking about a percentage, is it not linked to how much we're losing? How
much were we losing? If you look at the trajectory, from 2021 to 2024, it's been consistent 22.3% increase in our revenue. Okay? So this system, if somebody, for instance, he talked about petroleum revenue leakages, we all know, under the guise of export, people were stealing. Clearly, it was not going through the system. But this system has nothing to check that this thing is not passing through the system. But the things that are passing through the system and the valuation they are applying to it, it doesn't make sense.
Dr. Inusa, you've got 30 seconds as well to react, and we'll call it.
I'm telling you, you and I know.
Please, he has 30 seconds. Yes.
Well, I think that it is what government ought to do, as I intimated earlier on, is to go back and have a brief with all the stakeholders that are not happy with the current issues of overvaluation. I also want to see, going forward, a questioning of our importers by way of hedging the exchange rate for the payment of import duty.
There's no problem with the exchange rate.
And going forward.
The astronomical value.
And going forward.
He's got just 30 seconds and we need to wrap up for the health minister's interview. Yes.
And going forward. I believe that the orientation of this economy is, the orientation of our economy today is inimical to our development, especially the aspirations of the youth. Ghana ought to reorient its economy from an import-driven one to an export-driven one. By means of doing so, we need to invest heavily in industries and then propagate the agenda for import substitution, so that we can produce what we consume and indeed increase our exports.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramsey Inusa, Research Director for the United Party. And belated happy birthday to you from Abdallah.
Let me say this. I beg the government.
Oh, it's rather to you. Okay, it's rather to you.
I'm surprised.
Okay.
I beg the government to publish the contract between government of Ghana and AI Publica. They should publish it.
Thank you very much.
Is it because I'm white?
They should publish it. We've written
also to you as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Hamza Suhine, member of the NDC's communications team. Your microphones are actually off. And also to you as well, Mr. Sylvester Tete, former Deputy Minister of Information. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us on The Big Issue. My name is Beatrice Edu. Remember that The Big Issue is always sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. Now, whether you're aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through a dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, University of Gold Coast gives you options that match your vision. And if your next step is an MSc in International Relations, keep practical, flexible learning, flexible entry, and flexible payment. Study around your work and life, choose a route that fits your background, and pay in convenient installments. Your dream deserves structure, your future deserves strategy, and of course, your purpose deserves training. Apply now, www.ugc.edu.gh. You can call or WhatsApp now on 026-388-8555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. Do stay with us. When we come back, we'll bring you that conversation with the Health Minister, Mintak Kando, on the universal primary health care, the free one, going to be launched later today, sports and much more. Just stay with us. My name is Beatrice Edu.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
In Ghana, our gold is more than a resource. It's our pride. And at Gold Ball Jewelry, we celebrate that pride every day with craftsmanship that reflects who we are as Ghanaians. Introducing the Gold Ball Jewelry Gold Tablet. Pure, certified, proudly Ghanaian gold. The best part, when you buy a Gold Ball Jewelry tablet, you own it. You keep your gold with you, not with us. It's more than a jewelry. It's a smart investment for every Ghanaian who wants to secure their future. Gold Ball Jewelry Gold Tablet. Own your gold. Own your future.
Me twice ha. Ani kotodwe e de come na ase twetwe me fa me ntinim. Je me ja ene me nsem ye mo hyehyeehye na aye titiriti na me hu dia me nye cheme ba. Kanena me hawa no kosi se me share joint forces ene never life. Udompe ene waposo ni waposo ye wo ya no etutu no. Joint forces eno na ekwakoye mu atwuma na de atichima wo hobia no esesie no wuntini na emu ya wo ya etwetwon efiri wusisi edefa wo to ase no wo nan eno nsem ehyehyɛw ayetitiriti nedro ene never life. Joint forces ene never life enu ane mahotoso
MDA aje dede nkratoyi yi ato.
Delicious. What's the secret?
Palmac powdered tomatoes.
This advert is FDA approved.
All bets on sports. What is bet? High odds. What is bet? Fast payout. What is bet? What is bet? Bookmaking company.
The wait is over. A new world, new stakes. Across Ghana's campuses, the search begins. News. You.
career.
Okay.
And yes, he would be giving his all for the nation for the World Cup. But I mean, before the World Cup, he would have 2 friendly matches, one against Mexico, the other one against Wales. Maybe he would have another friendly in addition, because the sports minister did say some time ago that they are working to get one more friendly in addition. So he might have 3 friendlies to work with before the World Cup. So big job for him. But yeah, he's one with.
So those matches will be his, let's say, trials, if we can call it. We are trying him out to see how best he'll be able to represent us at the World Cup and, of course, take us to the World Cup as well. Well, a lot of people have been talking, sports commentators here and there, some footballers as well. And I'm told that former Germany player Gerald Asamoah has also been speaking about Carlos's appointment. Let's listen to him.
Against Austria and against Germany, what do you think are the priority things to fix before the World Cup?
I think the question what we need to ask ourselves, what do we want as a Ghanaians? I think we need to ask ourselves, okay, do you have the material players what we think about? Because let's talk about our successful years with Asamoah Gyan, with Asian, Montari, what are the names?
Asian, Montari,
there were some
John
names.
Mensah.
There were some names. And now let's look at our team, what we're having now. We have Partey, he's a good player, but he's have some issues. What I think is not giving him the confidence to do his game. Okay, against Germany was so good. And then let's ask ourselves, Kudus is out. So who are the players to carry this team? And that's the problem you need to ask yourself. And seeing the game in Austria, and I'll never underrate Austria, but it was like a dead team would not present us, because we have, it doesn't matter how weak or not good where we are, but we need to present yourself as a nation, not to lose 5-1. I think so 5-1, yeah? 5-1. And so the question was like, okay, how is this team going to present themselves against Germany? And I think Germany, I was also so surprised how Ghanaians played there, and you nearly take 1-1, and that's a reason why I think there's some spirit in this team. And I thought with Otto, he was just trying to say, okay, these are the players what I need for the World Cup. But now the new coach is coming, have now the option to say, okay, now I've seen this kind of games. Now he needs to select the players who he think will be the perfect teams for the World Cup.
So if you were the coach, what would you work on? You saw the Germany game, you saw us concede 5. How do you get this team to be better than it was?
The question what we need to ask, what are we good in? Are we good in defending, or are we good in offensive game? And as I see, we are really good in offensive, so we need to work on our defensive plays, because if you ask us, we have some speed. I think there was a guy Prince in the front, he was really fast. You have Jordan, who can keep the ball. Then you have on the 6, you have Partey, when he just keep the team together. Maybe to be some, so you need to be like not attacking straightly, so you need to come down, just win the ball, and then you try to go like what Otto did against Germany. Maybe this will be the thing, but
we need to work on our defensive organization.
It's important. Keeping the 0 is always the best, as just to open everything up, to score 2 goals and then get a 3 back. So I think keeping the defense is one of the important things what you can do as a coach.
All right, Gerald Asamoah, he represented Ghana in the 2006 World Cup.
Yeah.
All right, he's also been talking.
Yeah, Germany in the 2006.
Germany,
yeah.
All right. Okay, no problem. I'm sure in the coming days we'll hear a whole lot. But is he in the country at the moment, Carlos? Oh, he is.
Carlos?
Yes.
No, Carlos, we don't know his whereabouts at the moment.
But yesterday I spoke to him. I said I was coming with him.
So that is why you were.
Flight.
That is why when you're speaking the tree, you were writing the tree.
Bro, what's the next story? Jesus. Let's talk about the Champions League.
Yes.
Premier League and Champions League.
Let's talk about it. So who have the same feat? They lost to PSG 2-0 in the previous leg last week. And now they have a home match against PSG. They have to overturn that 2-0 deficit to also qualify to the semi. So it's going to be action-packed. It's going to be fireworks in these 2 matches in the Champions League.
We'll be on the lookout for that one. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yes.
Anyway, Bill, thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll have a lot to talk about, so you can tease me properly today. there's no time. Let's take a breather. When we come back, we'll have that conversation with the health minister. But the Business Financial Times is set to host the 3rd edition of the Women in Business WIB Dialogue Series 2026 under the theme From Market to Market Leader, empowering women in SME and young women in agri-business for sustainable growth. On Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 at the Lancaster Hotel, Kumasi, 9 a.m. sharp in the morning. Now, driving women-led business growth in Ghana, the Women in Business Dialogue Series is an initiative aimed at promoting entrepreneurship, financial inclusion, and sustainable growth among women-led businesses in Ghana and beyond. This year's edition will convene women entrepreneurs, market leaders, policymakers, financial institutions, and developmental partners to deliver high-level plenary discussions. Practical masterclass sessions will be available also, opportunities to connect, network, and learn from top business leaders, practical insights and strategies to grow and scale business. Exposure to financing markets and institutional support systems, guidance on overcoming barriers in the business ecosystem, access to skills development and mentorship opportunities. All of these are available. Sponsors, partners, lead sponsor Ecobank Ghana Limited, supporting sponsors Gino, Unilever, and the Bank Hospital. Thank you very much to all the sponsors. Now, if you have any questions at all, you can call 02094 57427 or 0244725688 for all your questions and any other inquiries that you may have. We take a break, and now when we return, that conversation
Good morning to you. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, and from our first interaction, you've been having a lot of activity so far. But just yesterday, I saw you, right?
Yes.
Interacting. How's it been so far, the ministry?
Well, it's been on. Very interesting.
Yeah.
But we are navigating the waters.
Yeah, yeah. You particularly are working in an area where the assumption has always been that you should always be a medical practitioner, so to speak, and then you have better relations, so to speak, even though we've had an accountant, etc., interacting, and then also supervising the ministry. How are you able to connect the dot, navigate, do the stakeholder engagement, especially within a pure specialized area?
Well, let me say good morning to viewers and say this is not my first time in the sector. I have been a ranking member on the Parliamentary Select Committee for 7 good years. So I've been in the sector for quite some time now. And quite apart from that, the precedence in the ministry doesn't support the argument that you necessarily have to be a professional before you can be a minister of the sector. We've had Dr. Sipanyanki, Professor Boafo, my own uncle, Kokwajima Manu, So the precedence in the ministry, I think that the medical doctors or the health professionals don't even constitute more than 20% of people who have headed that ministry.
All right. And then when we put the flyer out over 13 hours ago that we're going to interview you, just like when Haruna Idrusu was here, we had all your products from the various training institutions flooding our WhatsApp console, the WhatsApp, yeah. But we'll devote some time because we have now close to 10
You always have to address the issues that your constituents will want clarity on. So it's expected.
Yeah. And so, but let's deal with the subject matter of free primary health care. Because yesterday when I was listening to you, I got the sense that it is at the heart of the president himself. Why is that?
Good. So the free primary health care actually is a game changer. It's an attempt for Ghana to move from sick care to a comprehensive health care. As we have it at the moment, we don't have our sector, we don't have a comprehensive health care. So you realize that one will have to go to the hospital when he is sick for treatment. So the sector has been overly reliant on treatment. So that is a shift we are seeking. So it's a reset of the system towards prevention, early detection, equity, and affordability. So number one, all over the world, countries are struggling to attain universal health coverage, where you get to a point where your citizens will be able to access quality healthcare irrespective of their status in society, irrespective of whether or not they can afford, and irrespective of their location. That's where you say you have arrived at universal health coverage. Although we've made a lot of progress in our health system, but there's a lot of work to be done. And therefore, we think that the free primary health care, number one, as I've already indicated, whenever you go to the primary health care facility, you will be attended to free of charge. Usually, people delay or wait for going to the facility because of affordability. And by the time they get to the health facilities, the conditions have worsened already. So treatment is ineffective. But if the person knows that I don't need to pay money to attend the CHIPS compound, the health center, and the polyclinic, he will go to the facility early to detect the diseases early and to be able to deal with it on time for effective treatment. And so that is the freeness of it. That is the affordability bit of it, which is equally important. But I don't want us to center the conversation around the freeness of the policy. For me, if you ask me, the game changer is not only the freeness, but the game changer is the preventive aspect. Because you see, Roland, as I speak to you now, we had a survey in 2021 where only 35% of people with hypertension knew their status. They didn't know. So by the time you know, and some of these conditions, they come quietly, they develop quietly, silently. Some of them don't even show early symptoms. So by the time you know that you have hypertension, you've got into the complicated stage. It becomes very expensive. It becomes very difficult to treat and all that. So for me, from where I sit, the game changer is the early detection and the prevention aspect. So we have a package. Number one, it is not the free primary healthcare is not going to be applicable at all levels of healthcare delivery.
Then at which levels? Very
good. So let's define it clearly. Number one, it is applicable at the chief's compound. It is applicable at the health center, and it is applicable at the polyclinics. This is where your preventive, curative, and promotion free of charge will end. So you don't go to the regional hospital or Kolebu and go and say that we have free primary health care, so you have to treat me free of charge. That is not correct. And I don't need to create any false hope in the system. I need to be clear on that. So, Roland, this is where the National Health Insurance Scheme is still relevant. So there's a difference between the National Health Insurance and free primary health care. So you will get it free of charge at the primary level, but then when you are referred for an advanced treatment, that is where your National Health Insurance will help you. So through this program, we will be encouraging people to also enroll on the National Health Insurance so that you'll be fully protected.
I see. Then that will lead me to ask the question about the performance then of the National Health Insurance Authority, because it also means when you were ranking on the health committee, your constant criticism was the subject of due statutory allocations when the revenues were collected.
Correct. Now, there has been significant progress for the past 1 year in the National Health Insurance Scheme. Number one, His Excellency has directed, and same has been done, for the uncapping of the National Health Insurance levy. What this means in practical terms is that, for example, in 2024, the allocation that was made to the National Health Insurance was about 6 billion. And about 3 to 4 billion was capped into the consolidated fund to be expended in the other sectors. Now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama comes and says, look, we need health sovereignty. We need to reset the health sector. And therefore, any money we are collecting in the name of the National Health Insurance must be invested in the health sector. So in 2025, we were able to hit around 9 billion. Ghana cedis. In 2026, per the formula, we are hitting between around 10 billion.
Comparable to?
The 6 billion in 2024. Progress. Now, have you ever heard that service providers are threatening to withdraw their services because they are not being paid? Because there's prompt releases of the National Health Insurance from the central point to the National Health Insurance Fund for onward disbursement to service providers. So prompt. So that is not in doubt at all. What we are even seeking to do from there is that we want to get to a point very soon where we will even increase the tariffs. The services the service providers, provide, like the consultation and what have you, we are going to increase the amount, And the progress has also reflected in the coverage within a matter of 1 year.
So wait, you're going to increase the amount you pay them?
Yeah.
The service providers.
Service providers.
So if it's a pharmaceutical entity or a mainstream hospital.
We are going to increase. Now,
for National
Health Insurance
service
tariffs,
providers.
Yes. Now, all this progress we've made so far has reflected on the coverage in a matter of 1 year. We took the coverage from 57%. In a matter of 1 year, we are hitting 66%, 1 year. Clearly reflecting. So His Excellency President Mahama says, okay, I have uncapped the National Health Insurance, so let's then put more of the health issues on the National Health Insurance. So you hear free primary health care, but then we are not going to set up any power structures or bureaucracies to run it or to finance it.
So how are you in turn running it then?
Fantastic. So the free primary health care will be still financed by the National Health Insurance Scheme. No power structure. So the population-based payment or the reimbursement will be done by the National Health Insurance. Now the implementing agencies will still be the Ghana Health Service, CHAG, and the private sector. In actual fact, you can never have a comprehensive health system or care without this promotion and then the prevention. So we are committing resources to this to make it meaningful. Roland, quite apart from these facilities I've already mentioned, we are making effort to deploy not less than 350 container-based kiosks at lorry parks, and today I'll be visiting some of them. Lorry parks and highly populated, highly populated areas, so that the healthcare delivery can be at the doorstep of the ordinary Ghanaian. So you'll be in your house, you see health professionals walk in, they will take your BP or your sugar level, or they will screen. So there will be continuous screening of citizens.
So you want to undertake a community-based kind of...
Exactly.
Okay.
So apart from
like the way they do in the UK, even though it's not the same, like you have a general...
So apart from the fact that you can walk to the CHIPS compound, or you can walk to the polyclinic, or you can walk to the health center, we'll have a situation where health professionals will walk to your house, your villages, to screen you, so that when you have any condition, you can be referred to the next level of care.
I see. But you're talking about all this, and you will need a lot of personnel, you need a lot of hospitals, etc. And I know that there are complaints currently, particularly from the opposition, who say that, and even the former president did say that the current government, you are supervising the health ministry, the president is there, complete Agenda 111 hospitals, and you even have backlog of students you've trained who are now nurses with proper pains licensed, and they've not been posted. So let's start with the facilities.
You know, Roland, yesterday when I met the press, a similar question came up, and I was finding it very difficult to put it in its right context and perspective. So I was very, very careful the kind of words I use. I was not expecting that from the former president.
Why not? He birthed the idea, Agenda 111.
So then listen to me. Number one, we are all in this country when he said that he was going to complete Agenda 111 before he hands over. You were here. You hosted me on this program. You hosted all of them. That I'm going to complete Agenda 111 before I hand over as President of the Republic of Ghana. 111 projects. Now, 8 years down the lane, you couldn't finish one. Number two, you superintended over a situation where you invested about 4.8 billion Ghana cedis in Agenda 111, yet one was not completed. It is all because of improper planning. Because if you spend 4.8 billion and you plan well, you can complete 20. You can roll out in phases. But none was completed.
Not even one?
Not even one.
The videos I'm seeing... That
not even one is in operation. One. Not even one, because when you finish, and you have videos where the president himself went and commissioned. But go back to those places. They are locked because it's not been completed. They move generators to site to go and commission it. I've gone there, I've visited the place.
What do you need to make sure that an Agenda 111 hospital that was commissioned by the
good news is that
His
Excellency the President has instructed that no project that he inherited should be abandoned. So we have a plan now. You know, the AESL people were doing the comprehensive auditing in order to know whatever we have inherited, to plan how we can get money to continue and all that. So now we have a way where government is going to complete some of them, because, Roland, we need about 20 billion Ghana cedis to be able to complete it. And that will take us years. And that is what they didn't reflect on. So there must be a strategy to tackle it. So government will identify some, say, just an example I'm citing. Government will say, let's identify about 30 of them, we'll finish them. Then we'll package another sector another group, and then we say, CHAG, Christian Health Association of Ghana, come in, Pentecost, Assemblies of God, Catholic, you can come and take.
Is that the strategy?
Yes, we have a relationship with them.
Because we have 110 hospitals,
yes.
11 hospitals, right?
Yes, so what we'll do is that at the moment, about 105 are the various levels of completion. So we can say, okay, we are doing, it's an example I'm citing. We are taking about 40 of them, we'll complete, government will complete. But instead of us to wait for another 2 or 3 or 4 years, no, CHAG, you can come in. Because they are non-profit oriented. And we give them their compensation. Government pays their compensations. Government pays their workers, the health professionals they use. And so you can come in, complete, equip, and run. If there's a need for the private sector to also come in, Roland, you have money. You can identify one. Given the investment government has made in the facility, we'll sign an agreement with you. You'll finish. 10 years, 15 years later, reverted back to the state or subject to renewal. So you see, we are thinking outside the box and looking at how we can complete and put to good use all these facilities. And Roland, before you go to your next question, this is very important to make, that the free primary health care, we are not going to roll out the whole country at once. So we are going to do it in phases. So out of the 261 districts, the first phase will be 150 districts. And we are targeting the underserved districts. So in every region, we look at the underserved regions and roll them on the first phase. So every region, Ashanti region, Greater Accra, Northeast, Northwest, and all that, will take some districts, and that will constitute the 150 for the first phase. And then we'll study it and see the progress we'll make, and then
since you need hospitals, and already we know the tiers in which the hospitals are, and in relation to these hospitals, Agenda 111, the question then is, for this year and next year, how many do you intend or have you targeted to be able to complete?
For the Agenda 111?
Yes.
About 10.
About 10?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have targeted 10 to be completed this year. I mean, for you to see contractors going back to site to begin the construction. 10. They must go back to site to begin the construction.
How many do you intend making functional?
For the year, depending on the level of completion.
Yeah, because there are some, you can clearly see that the signs...
Yes. There are about 3 of them that the civil works. Health facility is not only the brick and mortar.
And the equipment. Some
have it, personnel, brick and mortar, technology, and all that. So there are some that I believe that we can finish as early as possible. That I agree with you. Those ones we are expert. In fact, as I speak to you now, I've instructed that those contractors must go back to site immediately.
Okay.
And I believe that within the week, they will mobilize and go back to site, and we are going to finish those ones. Okay? And then we will have to phase out the rest and to be able to put them to good use. We are not going to abandon any of them. But you see, Roland, it hurts when, that person who was supposed to plan well, that person who was supposed to complete the project, that who assured all of us. You remember at the first instance, it was from 77 to 111.
It was actually 88.
88, thank you.
Announced in April.
Fantastic.
The COVID year.
And when we were told that they were going to use 16 months to complete everything. And when he was pushed further, he said, I'll make sure that I complete all the 111. Then, less than 2 years down the lane, you say, hey, go and finish all. Oh, my brother, let's be realistic to ourselves. So,
okay. There are still legacy projects nonetheless.
It's a trap they have set.
They set a trap?
Yes. Because this is a project that they think that, look, and right from day one, as a ranking member,
you kept saying that they should have narrowed it.
Exactly. And I said that they had no intention of completing this Agenda 111. I said it, Roland.
Yes, you did.
Yes. And so
but at the end of the day, you have inherited this as a minister.
I'm saying that it's a trap. We will solve it. They won't get us into that trap. Okay. The trap is that, okay, let's start all these constructions. Get into elections, we'll go back to them. Vote for us and let's continue. If we lose the election, we'll put pressure on government to finish. If they don't finish, they'll say, oh, they have abandoned the project. It's a trap. But we'll have a way of navigating through this trap. So we'll put all these things.
Contractors will go back
to site to start
and
with.
Then those that are close to, you try to see.
Exactly.
Because your argument is that even after completion, you still need to get clearance to make sure you get the right personnel in there and all that.
So when you move to clearance and then the workforce, let me comment a bit on the workforce. Roland, we inherited a situation where we have huge numbers of health professionals at home. Huge numbers.
How many?
Now, as I speak to you now, we're talking about over 100,000. Don't forget that every year, between 35 to 40,000 health professionals complete both private and government. You understand? And so government needs to find a way of absorbing these health professionals. So there are two main approaches. One, government facilitating some of them to leave this country to find jobs for them, and we are doing that. And let me comment on this. I've seen one of my PAs rush to me to show me a video of somebody criticizing me to say that I am saying that there is, we are doing that to create space. The space I mentioned is physical space. The main problem we have as a country when it comes to our health professionals is not the availability or vacancy. We have the vacancies, we need them. But the budget can only contain what we can pay. So once they leave, they create physical space and you employ more. So that is the space I refer to. Number two, this year, you remember we inherited a situation where about 11,500 of them had been, recruited without financial provisions. We've gone past that stage. Now, the arrears, we have staggered them. By the end of this month, 2 months will be paid. By the end of next month, 3 months will be paid. Subsequently, that is July, the rest will be paid. Quite apart from that, this year, by the grace of God, I have another clearance to recruit health professionals. In this case, we are not limiting it to nurses and midwives. Allied health professionals have been complaining for a very long time that they've been neglected for a very long time. You sit on this program and you know. Physician assistants, and let me tell the physician assistant, there's a program, World Bank program, I think P4R, and they were recruited, about 250 of them were recruited, and now the program has come to an end and they're supposed to be laid out, but we are going to continue to engage them to streamline.
Now let's take them one after the other, because over the last 13 hours, the inundation has been from the backlog of personnel, and it's good that you mentioned the allied health professionals, the nurses. You have a backlog of over 100,000. What's the plan to make sure the immediate numbers and how much are they? You are able to cater for them based on clearance from the Ministry of Finance or the budget.
So listen clearly. That's what I wanted to throw light on. So number one, we are doing what we call Ghana Labor Exchange Program, facilitating some of them to get employment in other countries to reduce the numbers. That's the first one. Number two, government is taking deliberate effort to absorb some into our health system in the country. Now, this year, we are looking at employing between 16 to 20,000 of them. Now, this is what we're going to do. We are not going to allow any health worker to go to any facility to work when we have not been able to prepare him or her on their payroll. We won't do that again. You remember the strike incident? Sometimes you say, oh, go and start, we'll pay the arrears, but it leads to other things. So even after the 16,000, after vetting, if we finish, and I'll come to the processes, if we finish, let's say, the 16,000, and we are ready to enroll, let's say 6,000, we'll allow the 6,000 to enroll, and we're going to do that by June, July. Then the rest, we'll stagger them. Maybe December will enroll the rest. We will never allow any of them to go to any health facility to go and work whilst we are not ready to enroll the person on the payroll. Now, the system, we are going to change the system a bit for the recruitment. Nobody is going to sit in the ministry and post a health professional. You are going to post yourself right from the beginning. You don't come and tell me that I've posted you to a place you won't go. So we'll declare vacancies where we have vacancies. So we'll start from the northern part of the country, and the underserved communities will be our priority areas. We'll be guided by the free primary health care. So we'll declare day one, we will open 2 regions.
Okay.
So you yourself, these are we have Bunkugu Yoyo, we have Kobore, so you will choose which district you will want to go. Then you will go for an interview in that district. You go there to see the place, whether you want to go and work there. And then, after that, if you go through the interview and you pass, then they will get back to us for us to validate you at our end, and you go and start work. Now, this is again what we're going to do. If you open the 2 regions for, let's say, a day, some of them 2 days, some of them 1 day, under normal circumstances, if you are going for a vetting or interview, we should pick more than the number so that you screen. Is that not the case? We're not going to do that. So if Jabusu needs 10, we will, if it gets to 10, we'll catch it. The portal will catch it at 10.
Automated.
Automated. 10. We are not taking 11. We are not taking 15. The reason is simple. I will explain. If we need 10 at Jaboso and we allow about 50 there, we want to avoid a situation where people will go and pile up at a place and create a scene. Number 2, we want to avoid a situation where people can influence the interview panel. In that case, the minister will be in Accra. I will not have control. So Jaboso needs 10. We'll give Jaboso 10. Go through the interview. Maybe 8 people have qualified. 2 people. So you have a vacancy of 2. So we'll take those gaps and reopen again till you get a number.
How do we prevent elimination by rough tactics? What
does that mean?
Where let's say there's a allocation for Jaboso, or let's say Keta, or let's say Ejuso. Okay, and then allocation for 20 for each of them. And then we go through an interview process and only 10 people are deemed or deemed to be qualified. So that there's no accusation that people down there, you are not down there.
No, that's what I've just explained. I'm saying that we're not going to have a situation to choose out of a certain number for people to influence the process.
Okay.
So the first group of people who choose the facility and they'll go through the system, okay? And this one, the priority will be given to the 2021 batch. Because they ended at the 11,500 ended at the 2020 batch. So we will give the priority to the 2021 batch. So if in Jaboso, we need 10 people. 10 people have applied.
Yeah.
It stops from there.
Okay.
So that nobody will be able to influence.
Currently on Facebook, 1,400 people are watching us. There seems to be an interest. You,
very high interest,
communication minister, education minister, your numbers were always up the rafters. Because you look at the time and the numbers, so people are interested. So I'll go to the comment section.
Okay, all right.
And then I'll ask the questions because we want this to be interactive, not just me asking the questions. We want to listen to the people and then those that are affected, so to speak. And so, more importantly, the first question I have is coming from an individual who says that, kindly ask the health minister if I'm a certificate holder and currently pursuing a degree program, which will be ready by next year. Do I have to wait till next year to apply with a degree program and get that status, or I can first apply with my diploma certificate or any other certification based on availability at the portal?
Yes, so it depends on him or her, what certificate he wants to use. You cannot apply with a certificate you have not completed. So if he wants to apply with his diploma, that is his or her choice.
Okay. Please ask him, if I choose one district and that district is full, will you be able to choose another district again? Meaning that there are availability or vacancies. They are open. So can one person choose more than one vacancy?
No, you choose one.
So you open one demographical area at a time, or geographical area at a time?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Please ask him. Okay, so I've exceeded that. Then this one also is coming from our main portal and says that... It
looks like the whole conversation is now going to be around...
No. I'll make time.
But I can understand. The interest there is very high. I can understand.
Please let him, and this one is coming from Lukman, give us more details on the upcoming recruitment of health professionals, the year groups they are considering,
That's
and the number of
done.
professionals.
We've already answered those questions.
2021.
And 2021, and every other profession within the health sector will be considered. The PAs, the allied health people, everybody.
And this one is coming from a practicing health professional. She says she's a senior nursing officer.
Okay.
And says that doctors, nurses, and everybody else pay for their own health care, even though they work at various health facilities. So what's the incentive package for them?
Well,
is this something that has reached you?
Yes, we have the condition of service, and it is not entirely accurate that they pay for everything. Every facility have their own internal arrangement to assist their health professionals, but it's something we are reflecting on, and is an ongoing discussion.
All right. Let me just ask 2 more, then I'll go to the mainstream.
No problem.
We'll continue. Please ask him why Allied Health Professionals Council has stopped issuing certificates. Do you have any knowledge about that?
No. So I'll take note of that. And then yesterday I was hearing all manner of, I was getting all manner of feedbacks about issuance of PIN and certificates, and I've begun to probe into them. So if they've stopped issuing certificates, right after the program, they will have to come and explain why that is that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's come back to the mainstream and leave the comment section because there are a lot of people. When you were a ranking on the health committee, you were constantly on the neck of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government about the General Hospital.
Yes.
We even went there several times to do lives. Why haven't you completed the hospital?
Completed? The number of months or the duration for the contractor has not been exceeded. So when we came, there was nobody on site. The contractor has left site because the government was owing the contractor. We have paid the contractor. The contractor is back on site and they are working.
When will they complete the work?
Well, I think they're supposed to complete in about 12 months or so.
If you take a look at the focus on and the pressure on you to make sure you complete Agenda 111, when will you have time to also build other top-notch facilities as well?
Okay. We have already started. So, you see, the health sector is such a way that you cannot say because you are doing one thing, all others must be held constant, or you must be able to work on them simultaneously. So, for example, we used to have 10 regions, and so we had 10 regional hospitals. As we speak, we have 16 regions. So there are about 6 regions without regional hospitals. This year, in the 2026 budget, an allocation has been made to begin with 3 regional hospitals, i.e. Western North, Savannah, and OT. I've moved in there. We've inspected the sites for these 3 hospitals. Commitment authorization have been secured, and the processes have commenced. And very soon, you see those contractors on site. So we are constructing specialized hospitals. And then there's a deliberate policy by government that every district must construct not less than 2 chips every year. And we are looking at a new design of polyclinics that we're also going to go into complete. So Agenda 111 yet, we won't left it behind, but we are also pursuing other projects as well. All the projects we inherited, including La General Hospital, we've given them money, and they are on site. Very soon, around Adeso, Etiwa area, we have about 3 to 5 hospitals that we are paying the contractor, and then we'll finish and go and commission. So we are not leaving any of these projects behind. We are pursuing all at the same time.
How are you undertaking this, taking cognizance of needed connecting roads and infrastructure, and so you're being more interministerial, sectorial in your decision-making?
The question again?
How are you making sure you're talking to other ministries, departments?
Oh, yeah.
So that, for example, if you are citing a facility, because we've had instances where educational facilities were cited, they raised issues.
We do that a lot. For example, Sewia Regional Hospital. It was between the Minister for Roads, Minister for Energy, and Minister for Works and Housing, and myself. So we communicate. Because you finish the project, and you will not be connected to the national grid. You finish the project, and accessibility by road is a problem. You finish the project, and they don't even have water. So constantly, in some of these instances, I personally speak to my colleagues. We correspond as well, and then we move together. So I have been doing that. And there are a lot of the policies in the health sector that you have to draw other sectors in. Free primary healthcare, for example, you necessarily have to get the Minister for Education on board, the Minister for Local Government on board, Minister for Finance on board, the AG on board. So if you're a minister and you sit in that ministry and you think that you can do all alone, you realize that you go and hit a snag. So you must take all these things into consideration, and then you do wide consultations, especially on the free primary healthcare. You can't come out with such a policy without wild stakeholders consultation. GMA, GRNMA, media, CSOs, pharmaceutical society, pharmaceutical manufacturers, all that. So we do a lot of wide, members of parliament, wide consultations.
For many health professionals, over the last 10 years, my interaction with them, for some of them, like those who train as, hygiene, school, who attend the School of Hygiene, maybe community health nurses, physician assistants,
Yes,
the PAs.
PAs,
The perception is that within the tier or the structure, they are not giving the voice, the consideration to be able to.
Yeah.
So how is that a priority?
Yes,
as a
that has
policy?
been their concern. And so that is why, so usually, you will hear when the recruitment figures come out, you will hear, oh, nurses and midwives are going to be recruited. So this year in our communication, we said health professionals. So we are giving quota to all these groups of people. And we've opened our doors for them. As and when they need to engage my director, HR, they do. As and when they need to engage me, we do. And then we try to tell them what we are doing. Last year, for example, there were a lot of agitations in the system from those who had not had the opportunity to be employed. And we engaged some of them and said, look, we have come to inherit about 11,000 of them. We don't even have their salaries. And so give us some time. Next year, we'll recruit. Next year, we've started, and we are engaging them. You understand? And so it's been their concern, but I will also try and then take them on board for them to, usually, if they are part and they know what is happening, they are at ease, rather than not knowing what is happening in the system. And let me reiterate the point that this year's recruitment, our priority will be the free primary health care. And so it will be guided accordingly.
In the budget, you said you were going to upgrade 7 hospitals, their maternal and child health wing. There was an allocation for some million for their equipment and ward expansion. Are you charging your directors of health at the various regions to perhaps pursue that policy?
Yeah, so in every teaching hospital, I've signed KPIs with the CEOs. You give me a 4-year plan, how you are going to transform your hospital. So for example, Kolebu this year, we are going to build the Kolebu maternity block. We're going to do it. So everybody, if at the end of the year, you have not been able to achieve those milestones, you have questions to answer. And Roland, in the health ministry, this is what we are doing at the moment. Every policy we roll out, every program must have an impact. We must be able to measure the impact. So we are not just rolling out programs and projects for rolling them out sake, but we measure the impact we will make. You understand? And so we are on course, and I believe that we will get there. We have a lot to do, but we'll get there.
A key issue that came up a couple of weeks ago, I'll say just over a month ago, was the young engineer who, of course, having been to some hospital, did not get a bed.
Yeah.
And the no-bed syndrome has been with us for decades.
Yeah.
Okay. You've spoken about that. How are we moving forward to be able to, one, when it comes to getting the responsiveness by way of the standard operating procedures, and subsequently the expansion to cater for?
Okay, Roland, my position and that of Mr. President is that irrespective of a condition in any health facility, no health facility should turn away an emergency situation, an emergency case. Excuse my language, even if there's the need, and I use that word carefully, to save the person's life on the floor, it is better than turning the person away to go and die. Roland, as you rightly indicated, no-bed syndrome has been with us for some time now. And so as a leader, when you come in, you don't need to be part of those who are lamenting and complaining. You must find a solution to the problem. And before I go to the solutions, let me make the point that I set up a 3-member committee, which was chaired by Professor Bedu Akosa. I'm told the report is ready, but because of the free primary health care, we'll take them and we'll make it available to the public. And I will not hesitate to implement all the recommendations that will be in the report. We will implement them. So on my brother Charles's issue, a committee has been established. They are almost ready with their report, and I can assure the public that we'll make that report fully available to the public, and I will also not hesitate to implement to the latter the recommendations that will be in that report. But that notwithstanding, Let me touch on few measures we have started to undertake. Number one, no bed syndrome. What we have realized is that sometimes patients are kept at the emergency ward for a very long time. You understand? And so what we have decided to do is that we're going to use the IT approach to have visibility on all beds. So I can sit in my office and know that if you're in Kwanta Hospital, we have 3 or 4 beds at emergency. So we are doing the counting and barcoding of all these beds, and we have what you call a command center. So we are establishing a command center at Ridge Hospital at the moment. And so every health facility, we are piloting the regional hospitals and then the teaching hospitals who have commanders who feed into the system, and then the ambulance people are also on board. So when you feed in the system, it will be able to tell you where you should move a patient and where you should not go. But Roland, there's one point I also need to make forcefully. Usually, when there is an emergency, people are quick to move these emergency cases to the big hospitals, Kolebu, UGMC, Ridge. It is always advisable to rush that patient to the nearest facility, even if it's a CHIP compound, to stabilize the patient, and for that facility to refer you to other tier of the healthcare delivery system. And so we are doing that. Number two, we'll go back to Parliament with a bill on emergency issues. Number three, we are going to establish a whole center for emergency issues. And to add on to the best we have and all that. The already existing ones too at Kolebu, at Confanoche, at UGMC, we are looking at expansion. So these are some of the reforms we are bringing. I am not saying that we are going to deal with it comprehensively and will not have that problem. As for spillovers, even in developed countries, at one point or the other, you have spillovers. But as to how to manage the spillovers is also what the problem we have to contend with.
Okay. Even before the committee's report is brought to your attention, subsequently, if you want to, you make public. What have you noticed so far? That maybe at a certain point in time, we have so much beds available, but they are evenly or unevenly distributed. And then it's also because we have a number of individual practitioners or hospitals that tend to flout standard operating procedure. That's why we had incidents like that.
Roland, I've had instances where, and I'll be very blunt with you. I mean,
please be.
We are public.
Once
offices.
It's not defamatory, we're fine.
I'll have instances where people will go to the health facility and they'll say there's no bed. And they will call me and I'll call the health facility and there will be bed. And I keep telling them all the time, the day I'll be happy as a health minister is when people will stop calling me that they need bed at the facility.
Whilst there's bed?
Whilst there's bed. This is an open secret.
So what's causing it?
You understand? And so what's causing it is that we must have visibility. It must be transparent. So that if there's bed, you cannot tell me there's no bed. So that does not mean that there are no rare situations where there are no beds. I've not said that, please. There are real situations where there are indeed no beds. And so we need to, and as you have rightly indicated, there could be beds somewhere, there could be beds at Ridge, and you go to Kolebu. You understand? But when we have a centralized system to know where there are beds, that will also help us a lot. Whilst we are looking at expansions, I've made mention of expansion. Whilst we look at other avenues we will explore.
All right, we're still with the Health Minister, Kwabena Minta Kando, who also doubles as the Member of Parliament for Draboso. And we are also live on 3FM 92.7, so you can also catch us live there. Also across our social media handles, TV3 Ghana, 3FM 92.7 as well. Let's have some great conversations thereof. And the questions keep trickling in. I always say that so far my observations, education, health, communication. If you're a minister and person you come and sit here, you'll get questions.
You see your smoothness.
I'm told, please, the previous government that the NP happened what you're going to complete. Okay. Now, a critical question is about when the UGMC was not fully operational, you, as respectfully, a ranking, you were complaining fully that they were not operational, etc. So why is it that those that are not, that are near operational, talking about the Agenda 111 hospitals, you will not get them to be operational?
What kind of question is this? I think I have answered this question, that it is not as though the facilities have been completed and we are not making them operational. There are two different, issues.
Okay.
That I have come. The facility has been completed. There are equipment, and we don't want to operationalize. That one is just sending health professionals there to go and start the operation. That is not the case.
Okay.
Okay? Even the civil works for Agenda 111, less than 10%, in fact, less than 5% of civil works are above 80%. Less than 5%. Civil works, if you combine the civil works plus the equipment, a facility that is about civil works 80%, if you add the equipment, you are bringing it down to about 50% completion. You see the realities. So it's not as if they are ready. And then there's money. You see, there's a difference between the projects and the programs His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left in 2016 and this one. Some of them, we had a program, a project, a source of funding is secured. So when you inherit, you just continue with the source of funding.
So you're saying Agenda 111 is sitting on GOG?
GOG.
You have to cough the money.
You have to cough the money. You have to plan. You have to think outside the box. The money is not sitting there. GOG.
I see.
So that is the difference. If I have I will be the most, the most happiest minister that I have money sitting in the ministry and I'm supposed to complete project. I'll be so excited to do that. But you need to think beyond that. You have to convince the finance minister. You have to go to cabinet to make the case. The cabinet must necessarily approve it and give you the money to be able to complete. We don't have a reliable and a secured funding for Agenda 111. It's not anywhere.
Sorry, I've brought this. This is my 7th question on it. So because the pressure is there, and they keep accusing me, Roland, you're not asking the question because.
Please, the assurance, Roland, again, is that we have assessed the situation. We are going to stagger the completion. Government is going to take a chunk of it and run with it. In other words, complete and operationalize. There's a difference between completion and operationalization. So we will do that. Those that are above 80%, especially the 90% region, have instructed the contractors to go back to site, and they're going back to site to finish them and we'll operationalize them. So we'll pick about 30 to 40 of these facilities and government will complete. And that will be staggered for the next year and the subsequent ones. And then the next year of group of facilities, we'll look at the corporate Ghana, GRMNA, GMA, other people can also come and partner government to complete. Private sector can come, corporate Ghana can come. So on Agenda 111, I know that everywhere I have gone with Mr. President, people have raised concerns about Agenda 111. So we have our eyes
on the chronic ailment. We have kidney disease because of underlying complications, etc. The dialysis machines, they're just not available. What's the current statistics of hospitals that have or across the country and don't have? They've come to your attention. You intend inputting or stocking them. How much?
So we are at a very advanced stage of rolling out a lot of dialysis machines in our regional and teaching hospitals. So what we are doing at the moment is that we are doing what we call hospital equipment placement. So we are partnering the private sector. So you, Roland, you say you have equipment, dialysis machines. We've divided the whole country into lots. And so we are starting with about 30 facilities. And we are going through the procurement processes. So Roland, you come, you bid, you win. You say, okay, you have your dialysis machines. We'll say, okay, go and put it at Ridge Hospital. And then you will be paid, if it's National Health Insurance or Mahama Cares, they will pay you according to the usage of the machine. So the procurement processes are ongoing. The whole country has been divided into lots, and we are at the completion, almost at the end of the procurement processes.
How are we going to make sure they're affordable? Because I'm asking this question because
you
go to in front of Kolebu, you find a tech, something tech, they're doing some lab, something, some MRI scan, something, whilst the hospital, which is the public facility, doesn't have, by a private person have. This time it's going to sit in the hospital. We're doing a PPP arrangement. So
the tariffs of those machines or services will be subjected to 2 or 3 main regulations, if you like, laws. Because it will be part of the agreement, it will be part of the MOU we sign. We will not allow the private sector to determine or to dictate the price. So what we are going to do is that if it is Mahama Cares, it will be subjected to the tariffs of Mahama Cares or National Health Insurance tariff or the Fees and Charges Act of Parliament.
Okay. All right. Let me return to the question because we want to wind up. So why are you still training and churning out health professionals in thousands when you know the state cannot absorb them? Isn't it time to reassess the needs and design new programs for health and allied health training schools to allow for a gradual absorption of the backlog before you begin new?
You cannot stop procreation. You cannot stop training of health professionals because you have a backlog. That cannot be done. But what we can do, and what we are doing, is that we are shifting the attention from the usual general nursing to what we call the post-basic, the specialties. What we realize is that the countries who request our health professionals always come with some kind of qualifications, and usually the specialties. And so what we are doing at the moment is that there are some specialties that are not being run in this country, and we've started running some of them. So we are concentrating on the specialties so that when those demands come, we'll be able to meet the demand on the globe. Okay. And then we'll also be able to manage the numbers, but we cannot stop entirely.
This one says that the primary health care policy, the free primary, is a game changer, so kudos to you. But then you haven't, your ministry or your Ghana Health Service hasn't released a promotion letters for nurses and midwife educators who attended promotion interview as far back as September last year.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you will not know about it.
Director General
Ministers, if people no be easy.
So I'll take note. And
okay. This one is coming from Prince Nania York. He's watching us. He's a regular watcher from the UK. Oh, okay. He says that he loves your exposition on the structures of recruitment, but he's worried about connection, the human interference. You know, Ghana connection.
So that's why, okay, I get. So you see, it is a very reason why we do not want to allocate a quota that is more than what is needed at a particular place. And maybe you may follow up from the ministry since we took office. We are doing our best to cut out those interferences and make sure that we do a transparent job.
Okay.
And Roland,
yes,
we cannot end these conversations without touching on the postings of the medical officers. So let me touch briefly on that. And I still have my position. Roland, I took office as a Minister for Health where there are some districts, not communities, not towns, some districts without a single medical doctor in this country.
At all?
At all.
In Ghana?
In Ghana. You see, you are surprised. And so I said, no way. So my first deployment, I said, I'm going to target and concentrate on the underserved regions. We have about 8 regions, the OT, Western North, Savannah, classified as underserved regions. So we targeted those regions and did the deployment. In 2024, when they did the deployment, only 12 medical doctors accepted postings to those 8 underserved regions. 12, not one regional. 12.
21?
2024. Only 12 accepted, postings to 8 regions. Are you getting the drift?
So we have vacancies.
But vacancies are there.
Postings were done.
Done. They didn't accept the
Yet
postings.
only 12 took up the vacancies.
For 8 regions. Within which, even every region, you can have more than 8 districts. Are you getting the point?
What was the vacancies available, if you could?
What was the... Almost all the districts in those regions had vacancies.
Numbers. Because 12 took them, so they should have...
Yes. So if you put them together, they could be... Because even on average, if you have 5 districts in 8 regions, you're talking about more than 40 district hospitals. Are you getting the argument?
Or vacancies.
Or vacancies, so even if it's one each. So in 2025, we said, no, we'll target those regions. And so we deployed. We had a huge backlash. And people were refusing. But by the grace of God, we have about 100 people who have responded. They've gone. Those who have not responded, and they are not going, Roland, what we are going to do is that we are going to deprive them of that opportunity of posting.
Oh.
Yes.
Medical doctors.
Yes, medical doctors. We deprive because we posted you for months. You are not going. You are not ready to accept that posting. We are going to deprive them of that posting. Those who have accepted posting, we are going to put on the payroll. Some of them have already started paying them. Then we'll open the portal again for any medical doctor who want to go to where we have advertised vacancies. I agree, Roland, that they have difficulties and concerns, and some of the concerns are genuine that we are dealing with. And so I had to visit some of the regions to engage the opinion leaders to get a befitting accommodation, sometimes some vehicle and what have you. I can't disclose all on TV. But Roland, I cannot sit here and say that because of those difficulties, we will not send medical doctors to those districts.
Well, thank you for passing through our studios and then answering a call for this interaction. I hope that it was soft so that at least you were able to answer.
Has anything been soft from your end?
Yes, always. Right here on TV.
So we are launching the free primary healthcare, God willing, tomorrow by 10 a.m. at Dodowa, and that will be done by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama. And free primary healthcare remains his flagship program, especially when he's been championing health sovereignty on the continent and on the globe. And charity begins at home, and he's demonstrating that.
Kwabna Minta Akando, Honorable, is also not only the Minister for Health, but the Member of Parliament for Draboso. He's been our guest this morning. And the last comment I'll read from a viewer says, the Health Minister, as I'm watching him now, is doing so well, and we wish him the very best in his services. And it's coming from the Law Union President, Central University Law School, Nasser Ejin. And it's where we have to end the interaction this morning.